horrible games are far from. Okay, seriously, they are very, very far from because, well, actually, no, they are a little bit because you keep playing them time and time and time again, and you cannot get away with them. It's horrible. Your life belongs to these people when you start playing these games. And if you don't believe me, try Potion Explosion. Seriously. But we're not going here to talk about Potion Explosion. We're going to talk with Alessandra about Dragon Castle, a new release for Essen. And the game looks absolutely pretty and beautiful and very Ma Jong-y. Tell me about the game, please.
Well, thank you for your kind words. And the game is based on the solitaire version of Ma Jong, which is not really Ma Jong, but is what most people, especially in the West, know as Ma Jong, which is a computer solitaire game where you have to find a couple of identical tiles to destroy this structure made of tiles. In our game, we took that mechanic of finding couples of tiles, but we made a multiplayer game out of it. So when you take marbles from the central castle, which is the dragon castle of the title, you place those tiles on your board to build your own castle. Your goal is to create sets of tiles of the same color that connect to each other. They don't need to have the same symbol, but they just need to be of the same kind. So, for example, if you know Ma Jong, there are the bamboos, we have swords, we have coins. So all these kind of tiles have the same color, but they can be with different symbols. So 1 coin, 2 coins, 3 coins. So when you create a set of tiles of the same color, you flip them to score points. The more tiles you have connected, the more points you make. And also you have shrines, which are small plastic pawns that you can collect with a special action when you play. And when you flip tiles, if you have those in your pool, you can also build them on top of the tiles that you flipped to make bonus points. The higher you build them, because when you build tiles, you can then stack them on top of each other. If you build the shrines higher, they are more valuable, but when you place a shrine, it will block that space for the rest of the game. So you have to be careful to not block too soon, and to not put a shrine in the way of where you are trying to make the sets to make points. And you have 3 different actions you can do. One is the regular Ma Jong action to take a couple of tiles from the central castle. With one, you take only 1 tile and a shrine. That's how you collect shrines. Or you can also take a tile and discard it to make 1 point. It's a way to get rid of a tile that is blocking one tile that you want, for example, or to get away a tile from another player that needs it. So it can be used in many ways, these actions. When you do 1 action each round and you keep playing in turns, when only the bottom floor of the central castle is remaining, 1/4 action is available, which is to take 1 of the countdown tokens, we call them, from a track. Each countdown token is worth 2 points, which is as much as a set of tiles, so they are very valuable. So it's a quick way to make points, and in addition to that, when the final token of the track is taken, that triggers the final round of the game. So the game ends when all players have played the same number of rounds, and after this, the player with the most points wins. It's a very simple game, as you can hear from me.
Yeah, it is, but Ma Jong is a very deep and very, very hard to master game. How much of that depth is Dragon Castle retaining for the playability?
It is definitely there, and that's the next thing I was going to say, because for starters, the layout of the tiles in the castle is always different, so, because it's random. So when you choose your tiles, you have to check what is available now and what will be available later, because one thing I didn't say is that for all the actions that you do, 1 tile must always come from the top floor of the castle. So if no green tiles are on the top, you cannot take green tiles until the top floor is all removed. So it may be wise to not invest in green tiles in the beginning, or you will be keeping tiles for a lot of time. Or maybe you want to do that because you prepare a set, and as soon as the next floor is available, you are ready to score. So there is a lot of strategy. And in addition to that, we also have, what I explained now is the basic version of the game. We also have 2 decks of 10 cards, the Spirit cards and the Dragon cards that you only use in the advanced version. The Spirit cards are, you only draw 1 of each kind at the beginning of the game, and they stay in play for the whole game. The Spirit card is one special power that all players can use once per round during the game. But each round they can do that in addition to their regular action. It comes with a cost. You have to discard 1 shrine from your pool or 1 face-up tile from your board. But if you do that, you can then trigger the special ability of the Spirit power, or the Spirit card. For example, 1 Spirit, the Eagle, allows you to flip a face-down tile. If you have just that 1 tile and you will not be able to flip it because the rest is not available anymore, you can flip it so you can build on top of it. And you can also move a shrine. So if you build 1 shrine on the lower floors, you can move it to an upper floor to gain more points. Or 1 other Spirit allows you to flip tiles even if you have only 3 tiles instead of at least 4. There are many different effects. The Dragon cards instead are an additional way to make points at the end of the game. So for example, 1 dragon gives you bonus points for each shrine that you have built on the edge of your realm. So with that dragon in play, you will tend to build all your shrines on the edges. Another dragon gives you points if your building is symmetrical. So in that case, you will tend to build everything in the middle of the board. And all dragons are different, so each dragon changes greatly the way you build and so the way you play. We also have many different, I think 12 different castle layouts already in the rulebook. The shape of the castle and the proportion, the number of tiles at the various levels changes the flow of the game. If there are a lot of tiles on the lower floors with just a few tiles on the upper floors where you have to take, this will force you to really think of a strategy to take the tiles that you want, because not many tiles are available at once. In other castles there are only tiles on the top floor and nothing lower. So there are a lot of aspects of this game that make it always different and always variable, with a lot of strategies and deepness.
It feels like a little bit of a departure from you guys, from doing Potion Explosion, Dungeon Fighter. You've always done very light-hearted, simple games, but this feels like the sort of game that could appeal to very hardcore gamers as well as more casual players who want something a little bit thinky but not necessarily complex. Why have you taken that decision to go higher up in the thickness and complexity of your games?
Well, one aspect of it is that Hjalmar Hack, which is also the designer of Photosynthesis, for example, another popular game, is now working with us. And like me, he likes this kind of game, so we managed to move the direction of the company a bit. But if you think about it, Potion Explosion was the beginning of this, because it is a very light-hearted game, but gamers can find a lot of deepness in that game too. We have been trying to expand our audience for a few years now. And also we have Alone, which is coming next year, which is a gamer's game. So we decided we are known for this kind of light experience, and we want to keep that, because Dragon Castle is very simple, but it's also very accessible, so everybody can play it. And we want to make games that can appeal to a wider audience, while we're retaining our light-hearted feel and lightness, but we want to expand our audience.
Which is fair enough indeed. Now, Dragon Castle has been released now at Essen. When is it going to be available to buy on distribution for everybody else, basically?
We are basically ready to mass produce the game. We made a smaller production, not really small, but we made a production just to have the game for the fair here in Essen and next week in Italy with Luca Comics and Games, which is another big event, at least for Italy. So we are ready. As soon as our partners translate the rule book in their language, we are ready to go. So it will most probably be early next year at the latest.
Okay.
So quite quick enough. Since we have a few copies more that will be produced soon in Italy, some copies with this multi-language edition that is in English, Italian and German may be available online or at some retailers in the next few weeks. We don't know.
So basically people just keep an eye on this, be quick, because this is going to be an absolutely excellent game. Thank you so much, sir. Absolutely brilliant to have you around. Best of luck with Dragon Castle. I think you should be doing very, very well indeed.
The start is good, so we hope it keeps going like this. We are very happy now. Thank you.